This video is not going to be too long, but we're going to be going over the math, and we're going to be going over history. So we're going to pick up from place value. So this is the place value videos and greater than, less than, and equal to section. So we learn about our place values, greater than, less than, or equal to. We learn about even all the way up to 1 million. Here's some practice. Greater than, less than, or equal to. Again, place values are essential to knowing whether it's greater than, less than, or equal to. More practice. Again, that representation, so important. A quick look into double-digit subtraction. So as you're looking at greater than, less than, or equal to, they can start to form in their mind, okay, this is greater than that number, but by how much? Meaning you have to subtract that from that. Kind of already getting them used to that type of thinking there. This greater than, less than, or equal to video by numberrock.com is for 3 place values, whereas this one up here is for 2 place values. So again, that information is extremely important. Then we move on to the metric system. Then we go into measuring. So this is for DK12, they do want you to do metric system. For Dr. Binox, they will introduce both the metric system and imperial system, aka the system that we use here in the United States. Which of course is still important because that's the one that we're going to be around. For the most part, the metric system really shines through in terms of the U.S. when you're dealing with scientific items, or even in some instances, when you for cooking, there may be kind of like it goes back and forth sometimes. But for DK12, the standard is metric. But again, it is important to know that there are two: the metric system and the imperial system. So here's measuring, what tools to use to measure, telling time, how to tell time, and then we transition and we move into history. And again, as I told you before, for the history, we're starting from the jump. We're starting from the very beginning. We're not starting from where we are at now. We are starting from how we got here. So we're going over the commandments, the fruits of the Ruach HaKodesh, and then we go straight into the history. The days of creation, the fall of man, Noah, Abraham, Sodom and Gomorrah, Jacob, the first captivity in Egypt, the period of the judges, the period of the kings, the second captivity of Babylon, Medes-Persian captivity, Greek captivity, Roman captivity, and Yeshua HaMashiach. Then we go into the 70 weeks prophecy from Daniel, which touches to modern day. Then you get to the modern day captivity. There you go, right there. When you hit Babylonian captivity, you're going to hit Babylon, Medes-Persia, Greece, Rome, modern day for the toes. And that's kind of how it's set up. So after the period of the kings, we go into captivity. We've been in captivity ever since. Oh my. But later on in for later on, in terms of later grades, we're gonna go in depth in these sections. For first grade, it's just good to know the outline. We start to go in depth at the end of the outline. We go back to the Abraham. Hit the Abrahamic covenant, so important. That's what establishes us to this day. To this day. Is Yahuwah's covenant that he made with us all the way back to Abraham. Technically speaking, there is a covenant that Yahuwah did make with Adam and Hawa during the days of creation, which, Yah willing, will probably be discussed in 2nd grade. But for this, we go to the Abrahamic covenant. Yeah. After the Abrahamic covenant, it's important for us to know for the standards, the states, but we didn't start with the states. We didn't start here. We started at home in Eden, particularly in the garden that is east of Eden, or east in Eden. Hint, hint. But I digress. I don't digress because that's on topic. Hallelujah. But yes, so that is the rest of math and going into history. That's right. So hallelujah. The next ones will be going over science.